Top 10 Insane Banned Waterslides. It's almost the end of the summer, and the heat is still growing day by day, so water activities are more preferable these days. Diving, surfing, kayaking, scuba diving are super fun and trendy nowadays. However, water parks remain one of the most popular family entertainments in summer, and the integral part of that are water slides. Besides different shapes, route, length, and height, all water slides share a common purpose: fun. But have you ever wondered about the most dangerous slides in the world? Well, today, we will talk about some of the craziest water slides in the world, which faced a ban after being found too dangerous for people to use. Number 10. Steamer Slider of Calypso Water Park in Canada. Calypso Theme Water Park is located in Ontario, Canada. The park offers a wide range of water attractions for all ages. Calypso features over 35 heated water slides, 100 water games, Canada's largest wave pool, 2 theme rivers, and one of North America's tallest water slide towers, the Summit Tower. However, if you want to stay fun and safe, you should avoid the steamer ride. This ride must either be modified or banned completely. There were several serious injury cases reported. In 2011, a young woman broke her collarbone, and her husband got a mild concussion and suffered bruised shoulders for a week. The tube went down backwards in the final tunnel, after the bowl very slowly, until a gush of water caught the tube and flipped them in the tunnel. Another incident was in the same season, in which a woman broke 2 vertebrae, which put her in a halo vest for several months. The alarming thing is that Calypso failed to report these serious injuries and refused to shut down the steamer ride. So if you visit the Calypso Theme Water Park, take care and be careful if you don't want to end up in emergency. Number 9. Cannonball Loop of Action Park in New Jersey. If you want to get your head cut off, you should definitely visit Action Park in New Jersey. But seriously, over the course of its 18-year run, Action Park's rides caused countless injuries and at least 5 fatalities from drowning, head trauma, and electrocution. Specifically, we're going to talk about the infamous Cannonball Loop. This one is really creepy. It was opened in 1983 and only functioned, if that's the right word for what it's done, for a month. However, the ride reopened a few times over the summers of 1995 and 1996 before further injuries forced its permanent shutdown. When the son of the owner says there wasn't really any engineering and the testing was just trial and error, it starts getting really intense. The Cannonball Loop could be described as a giant metal tube on a tower with a 360-degree loop, and people would go shooting out of it. The scary thing is that the Cannonball Loop was not even safer in human things. They say that to test the ride they sent down a dummy. No one can really confirm it happened, but as the story goes, the dummy came out headless. And we all wish they'd only tested it on the dummy, because they also tested it on employees. As a result, one of them got smacked his face and his teeth got knocked out, and the other person came out all cut up. When they went in, the first guy's teeth had gotten stuck inside and cut the second guy. Number 8. Geronimo Falls of Action Park in New Jersey. Well. Surprisingly, this one is also at New Jersey's Action Park. The actual name of this is Super Speed Water Slides. The 2 water slides were set slightly apart from the rest of the park. They had nearly vertical slopes to allow riders to reach higher speeds than usually possible. The barriers on the side of the slides were very low, so the lifeguards warned every user to remain flat on their back with their arms at their sides as they descended, since there was no way to ride it otherwise and stay on. Falling from any of the 2 slides would cause very serious injuries. However, the Geronimo Falls ironically reported one of the lower injury rates of the Action Park attractions. Only one of these slides remains today. However, the track was replaced with one that was not as steep. Number 7. Shoot the Rapids of Cedar Point in Ohio. Shoot the Rapids was a long flume water ride located at Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio. The ride was built and opened to the public on June 26, 2010. It featured 2 drops, with the second one crossing under the first. In summer of 2013, a boat carrying 7 passengers rolled backwards down the first lift hill and flipped over, injuring all the people on board. Nobody died. However, one person was taken to a local hospital and later released. The ride remained closed for the rest of the season. However, in February 2016, reports surfaced that the ride would be permanently dismantled, which was officially announced the same month. Number 6. Black Hole Waterslide of Wet n Wild Water Park in Orlando. The Black Hole opened in 1990 and featured 2 enclosed inline tube slides. It was subject to a significant lawsuit in 1994. That summer, Wayne Dowling went to Wet n Wild Park with his family. When they rode the Black Hole, Dowling was struck by something on the way down. When he exited the tube, he couldn't move his legs, and a few seconds later, an empty tube came out. Dowling later required a titanium plate surgically inserted in his neck as a result of his injuries. Even though Wet n Wild argued that they didn't know anything was wrong with the ride, and that, even if something was wrong with the Black Hole, it was not the cause of Dowling's injuries, an Orange Circuit Court jury had ruled that the park must pay the man $1.73 million for the injuries. Number 5. AquaSphere of PARC in Australia. The AquaSphere slide at Peninsula Aquatic Recreation Center was shut down after 2 young boys were injured in February 27. The AquaSphere slide was previously closed after incidents with the staff members in August 2014, before the facility had been formally opened. 2 adults suffered head injuries while using the slide, hitting their heads on the inside of the tunnel. The AquaSphere was reopened after a 10-month break, and, just days later, a woman injured her back on the ride. So, I guess it rings a bell. This shouldn't be reopening. Number 4. Verruckt of Kansas City Water Park in Kansas. The word Verruckt comes from a German crazy or insane. It was a water slide of the Schlitterbahn Kansas City Water Park in Kansas City. Its height was 51.38 meters, and in 2014, Verruckt became the world's tallest water slide. The reason it became closed was the decapitated body of a young boy. In August of 2016, Caleb Schwab, a 10-year-old, died while riding Verruckt. The raft he was riding went airborne during one of the ascents and impacted a metal support of the netting, decapitating the boy. The slide has remained closed since then. Number 3. Insano Waterslide of Beach Park in Brazil. Constructed in 1989, the Insano is the crown jewel of Brazil's giant water park, Beach Park. It is the tallest freestanding body slide in the world, and the scariest one. There were plenty of serious injuries on this slide, since the fall is so steep that the person riding is literally flying in midair half of the time. Just imagine that. For safety reasons, Insano only allows travel in a single position, on your back with your arms and legs crossed. Riders experience speeds over 65 miles per hour. Number 2. Sahara Sidewinders of Kalahari Resort in Ohio. This one is an extreme ride. The riders may encounter strong acceleration and deceleration forces from the front, rear, and all sides during the ride. The Sahara Sidewinders is marketed as the only indoor slide with loops. It is the first of its kind in the United States. It's pretty impressive. However, there is a discussion whether or not the safety norms of the constructions were ignored by the engineers. In 2011, the Kalahari Resort was hit with a lawsuit around this topic. A teenage boy was injured during the ride. The lawsuit claims the young man was injured while riding the Sahara Sidewinders, and according to the family's attorney, the ride imposed an unreasonable risk of injury to Kalahari's guests. Number 1. Surf Hill of Action Park in New Jersey. This one is also from the previously mentioned Action Park of New Jersey. Even though it's not a tall slide, it is famous for the users to frequently collide with each other on the way down, or at the end because the barriers between lanes were pretty small. This caused not only lost bikini tops, but also some serious injuries. The attraction was opened through 2005 and then reopened in 2012. To sum it all up, go on those slides if you wish, but be warned, you may get hurt quite badly. But seriously, the best option would be to research a water park you're planning to attend before going there, and look up if there were some strange things happening. Choose your attractions wisely, have fun, but stay safe. Thank you for watching, everybody. Please share the vid and press the like button. Also, tell us what do you think about these sorts of activities, and what was the most extreme water attraction you attended?